So just a quick disclaimer for people. I know it's a children's book, but this content is probably not for children. I tend to swear a lot. I'm gonna cut it down for my YouTube upload, but you know, uh, if I happen to say something upsetting, I don't want it taken out on me. My channel's set to not for children as it stands, so I'm not too worried about it. I would suggest maybe I'm PG-13. I don't know. How do you rate people? This is probably my favorite Shel Silverstein book, and I had 3 of them as a kid. This is A Light in the Attic, which is really like nice, like has a lot of darker stories, I think. And then Where the Sidewalk Ends is the one a lot of people know. I actually had I had a cassette tape of that one, which was pretty fun. And then Falling Up is the 3rd book in this set, and I think that's a really weird one. It has a lot of weirder stories in it. I might read them all someday on stream, but for now, I think this is good. This will probably take me a few hours. We'll see. I'm gonna have to get up and get some water soon too.
I'll get it for you.
Oh, thank you.
We just get to safety. Because I'm not safe. All I know is Troy Troy's the goddamn boss.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try and put down some markers to make this easy on myself. A light in the attic. There's a light on in the attic. Though the house is dark and shuttered, I can see a flicker and flutter, and I know what it's about. There's a light on in the attic. I can see it from outside, and I know you're on the inside looking out. Wow, these are pretty short. Thank you. How many? How much? How many slams in an old screen door? Depends how loud you shut it. How many slices in a bread? Depends how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day? Depends how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend? Depends how much you give 'em. Moon catching net. I made me a moon catching net, and now I'm going hunting tonight. I'll run along swinging it over my head and grab for that big ball of light. So tomorrow just look at the sky, and if there's no moon, you can bet I found what I sought, and I finally caught the moon in my moon catching net. But if the moon's still shining there, look close underneath and you'll get a clear look at me in the sky swinging free with a star in my moon catching net. I love his illustrations in here as well. I'm pretty sure Shel drew these himself. Hammock. Grandma sent the hammock, the good Lord sent the breeze. I'm here to do some swinging. Now who's gonna move the trees? I like how simple it is. Somewhere that boy got his hammock together. How not to have to dry the dishes. If you have to dry the dishes, such an awful boring chore. If you have to dry the dishes, instead of going to the store, if you have to dry the dishes and you drop one on the floor, maybe they won't let you dry the dishes anymore. Honestly, I can see some of my natural comedic timing in this. It might explain some things. Stop, thief. Policeman, policeman, help me, please. Someone went and stole my knees. I'd chase him down, but I suspect my feet and legs just won't connect. Whee! The sitter. Mrs. McTwitter, the babysitter. I think she's a little bit crazy. She thinks a babysitter's supposed to sit upon the baby. The prayer of the selfish child. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my toys to break, so none of the other kids can use them. Amen. Book jacket is still fresh. What did the carrot say to the wheat? Let us rest. I'm feeling beat.
Ah!
What did the paper say to the pen? I feel quite all right, my friend. What did the teapot say to the chalk? Nothing, you silly. Teapots can't talk. These full pages. Shaking. Geraldine, now stop shaking that cow. For heaven's sake, for your sake and the cow's sake. That's the dumbest way I've seen to make a milkshake.
Ah!
You can't hit me. I hope you don't.
I won't. It's your birthday!
Signals. When the light is green, you go. And when the light is red, you stop. But what do you do when the light turns blue with orange and lavender spots? Picture puzzle piece. One picture puzzle piece lying on the sidewalk. One picture puzzle piece soaking in the rain. It might be a button of blue on the coat of the woman who lived in a shoe. It might be a magical bean or a fold in the red velvet robe of a queen. It might be the one little bite of the apple her stepmother gave to Snow White. It might be the veil of a bride or a bottle with some evil genie inside. It might be a small tuft of hair on the big bouncy belly of Bobo the bear. It might be a bit of the cloak of the witch of the west and as she melted to smoke. It might be a shadowy trace of a tear that runs down an angel's face. Nothing has more possibilities than one old wet picture puzzle piece. Put something in. Draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble-gumble song, whistles through your comb. Do a loony-goony dance, cross the kitchen floor, put something silly in the world that ain't been there before. Monsters I've met. I met a ghost, but he didn't want my head. He only wanted to know the way to Denver. I met a devil, but he didn't want my soul. He only wanted to borrow my bike a while. I met a vampire, but he didn't want my blood. He only wanted 2 nickels for a dime. I keep meeting all the right people at all the wrong times. Nondescript monster. I mean, kind of descript. Rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, we'd travel all over the land. We'd play and we'd sing and wear spangly things if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band and we were up there on the stand, the people would hear us and love us and cheer us. Hooray for that rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, then we'd have millions of fans. We'd giggle and laugh and sign autographs if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, the people would all kiss our hands. We'd be millionaires and have extra long hair if we were a rock and roll band. But we ain't no rock and roll band. We're just 7 kids in the sand with homemade guitars and pails and jars and drums of potato chip cans. Just 7 kids in the sand talking and waving our hands and dreaming and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be grand if we were a rock and roll band? We.
That's a nice illustration.
Right. He does well. Something's missing. I remember I put on my socks. I remember I put on my shoes. I remember I put on my tie that was painted in beautiful purples and blues. I remember I put on my coat to look perfectly grand at the dance. Yet I feel there's something I may have forgot. What is it? What is it? This one's visual humor.
Damn.
Memorizing Mo. Mo memorized the dictionary, but just can't seem to find a job or anyone who wants to marry someone who memorized the dictionary. Somebody has to. Somebody has. Sorry. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars for the eagles and starlings and gulls. Have all been complaining. They're tarnished and worn. They say they want new ones we cannot afford. So please get your rags and your polishing jars. Somebody has to go polish the stars. Reflection. Each time I see the upside down man standing in the water, I look at him and start to laugh, although I shouldn't oughter. For maybe in another world, another time, another town, maybe he is right set up and I am upside down. Fancy dive. I really like this one. The fanciest dive that ever was dove was done by Melissa of Coconut Grove. She bounced on the board and flew into the air. With a twist of her head and a twirl of her hair, she did 34 jackknives, backflipped and spun, quadruple gainered and reached for the sun, and then somersaulted 9 times and a quarter, and looked down and saw that the pool had no water. Here comes summer, chirping robin, budding rose. Here comes summer, gentle showers, summer clothes. Here comes summer, whoosh, shiver, there it goes. Jay, hello, it's birthday. It's good to see you. The Dragon of Grindley Grun. I'm the Dragon of Grindley Grun. I breathe fire as hot as the sun. When a knight comes to fight, I just toast him on sight like a hot crispy cinnamon bun. When I see a fair damsel go by, I just sigh a fiery sigh, and she's baked like a tater, and I think of her later with a romantic tear in my eye. I'm the Dragon of Grindley Grun, but my lunches aren't much fun, for I like my damsels medium rare, and they always come out well done. A quaint, respectful dragon, I think. Thank you for the happy Ruru Day. Blame. I wrote such a beautiful book for you about rainbows and sunshine and dreams that come true, but the goat went and ate it. You knew that he would, so I wrote you another one, fast as I could. Of course, it could never be nearly as great as that book, that beautiful book that silly goat ate. So if you don't like this new book I just wrote, blame the goat. These are still really good. Like, maybe it was written for children, but honestly, just like, this is too much. Messy room. Whose ever room this is should be ashamed. His underwear is hanging on the lamp, his raincoat is there in the overstuffed chair, and the chair is becoming quite mucky and damp. His workbook is wedged in the window, his sweater's been thrown on the floor. His scarf and one ski are beneath the TV, and his pants have been carelessly hung on the door. His books are all jammed in the closet. His vest has been left in the hall. A lizard named Ed is asleep in his bed, and his smelly old sock has been stuck to the wall. Whose ever room this is should be ashamed. Donald or Robert or Willie or... Huh? You say it's mine? Oh dear. I knew it looked familiar. Also this goat. Oh dear. Never. I've never roped a Brahma bull. I've never fought a duel. I've never crossed the desert on a lope-eared swayback mule. I've never climbed an idol's nose to steal a cursed jewel. I've never gone down with my ship into the bubbling brine. I've never saved a lion's life and then had him save mine. Or screamed "Ahoo!" while swinging through the jungle on a vine. I've never dealt draw poker on a rowdy lumber camp or got up at the count of 9 to beat the world's champ. I've never had my picture on a 6-cent postage stamp. I've never scored a touchdown on a 99-yard run. I've never winged 6 Daltons with my dying brother's gun or kissed Miss Jane and rode my hoss into the setting sun. Sometimes I get so depressed about what I'd never done. There's a lot of truth in this. Right? Oh, I'm glad. I'm not glad that, like, it hit, but you know what I mean. Day after Halloween. Skeletons, spirits, and haunts. Skeletons, spirits, and haunts. It's a Halloween sale. A nickel a pail for skeletons, spirits, and haunts. Skeletons, spirits, and haunts. More than anyone wants. Will you pay for a shock? 'Cause we're quite overstocked on skeletons, spirits, and haunts. You have married a Ruru. Oh, I should show the crier. I would buy their skeletons, spirits, and haunts. Absolutely. Wavy hair. I thought that I had wavy hair until I shaved. Instead, I find that I have straight hair and a very wavy head. Longmobile. It's the world's longest car, I swear. It reaches from Beale Street to Washington Square. And once you get in, to go where you're going, you simply get out because you're there. Yo, are you yelling at the wavy head? What? It's so good. I need a second.
You have such a giggle.
I know.
I love the giggle.
I'm glad. I'm already like a third of the way through this. Backward Bill. Backward Bill, Backward Bill. He lives way up on Backward Hill, which is really a hole in the sandy ground, but that's a hill turned upside down. Backward Bill's got a backward shack with a big front porch that's built out back. And you walk through the window and look out the door, and the cellar is up on the very top floor. Backward Bill, he rides like the wind, but don't know where he's going, but he sees where he's been. His spurs, they go neigh, and his horse, it goes clang, and his 6-gun goes nab, and it never goes bang. Backward Bill's got a backward pup, and they eat their supper when the sun comes up. And he's got a wife named Backward Lil, and she's my own true hate, says Backward Bill. Backward Bill wears his hat on his shoe, and puts on his underwear over his clothes, and come every payday, he pays his boss and rides off a-smilin' and carrying his hoss. I can't fucking handle this. Mr. Smeds and Mr. Spats. Mr. Spats had 21 hats, and none of them were the same, and Mr. Smeds had 21 heads, and only one hat to his name. Now when Mr. Smeds met Mr. Spats, they talked of the buying and selling of hats, and Mr. Spats bought Mr. Smeds' hat. Did you ever hear anything crazier than that? This one's a full page. Because not just the poem is important, this entire scene is the key. No, there's nothing crazier. That's human nature. Snake problem. It's not that I don't care for snakes, but oh, what do you do when a 24-foot python says I love you, and it's the snake has to be 24 feet to say all that. Bear in there. There's a polar bear in our refrigerator. He likes it because it's cold in there, with his seat in the meat and his face in the fish and his big hairy paws in the buttery dish. He's nibbling the noodles, he's munching the rice, he's slurping the soda and licking the ice, and he lets out a roar if you open the door, and it gives me a scare to know he's in there, that polar bear in the refrigerator. I like the bear. We should keep a bear in our refrigerator. She's concentrating.
I am listening. Thank you.
Superstitious. If you are superstitious, you'll never step on cracks. When you see a ladder, you'll never walk beneath it. And if you ever spill some salt, you'll throw some across your back and carry around a rabbit's foot just in case you need it. You'll pick up any pin you find lying on the ground and never, never, ever throw your hat upon the bed or open an umbrella when you're in the house. You'll bite your tongue each time you say a thing you should not have said. You'll hold your breath and cross your fingers walking by a graveyard, and number 13's never going to do you any good. Black cats will look vicious if you're superstitious. But I'm not superstitious, knock on wood. Don't whistle at night. That is, I like that superstition. It's unique. Also this quadruple crossed finger. And this is interesting because today is 7/13, and I am a very superstitious person, but I only keep good superstition. I don't think that bad superstition is useful. Calls spirits. That's good to know, actually. If I'm in the right frame of mind, I might need some spirits. Makes sense, though. No, don't. Then maybe I won't. I don't know how desperate I'll be. Aw. The pirate. Oh, the blithery, blathery pirate. His name, I believe, is Claude. His manner is sullen and irate, and his humor is vulgar and broad. He has often been known to imprison his friends in the hold dark and dank, or lash them up high on the mizzen, or force them to stroll down a plank. He will selfishly ask you to dig up some barrels of ill-gotten gold, and if you so much as just hig up, he'll leave you to fill up the hole. He may cast you adrift in a rowboat. He has no reaction to tears, or put you ashore without no boat on an island and leave you for years. He's a rotter, a wretch, and a sinner. He's foul as fellow can be, but if you invite him to dinner, oh, please sit him next to me. Keep my spirits to myself. That's fair. I'm not going to plague anybody with my mischief. Well, I'm not going to plague you with my mischief. It's not mischief if you don't plague somebody, I guess. Herc. I'd rather play tennis than go to the dentist. I'd rather play soccer than go to the doctor. I'd rather play Herc than go to work. Herc? What's Herc? I don't know, but it must be better than work. Anchored. Our anchor's too big for our ship, so we're sitting here trying to think. If we leave it behind, we'll be lost. If we haul it on board, we will sink. If we sit and keep talking about it, it'll soon be too late for our trip. Sure, it can be rough on a sailor when the anchor's too big for the ship. You like the dentist? I appreciate the dentist. Yeah. I don't like going if I have to get surgery, to be fair. Pog. Unscratchable itch. There's a spot that you can't scratch right between your shoulder blades, like an egg that just won't hatch. Here you set, and there it stays. Turn and squirm and try to reach it. Twist your neck and bend your back. Hear your elbows creak and crack. Stretch your fingers, and now you bet it's going to reach. No, that won't get it. Hold your breath and stretch and pray. Only just an inch away. Worse than a sunbeam you can't catch. It's that one spot you can't scratch. My cander's a little different, I'm sure. Squishy touch.
Squishy!
Everything King Midas touched turned to gold, that lucky fellow. Every single thing I touch turns to raspberry jello. Today I touched the kitchen wall, squish, and went and punched my brother Paul, splish. I tried to fix my bike last week, sploosh, and kissed my mother on the cheek, glosh. I got into my overshoes, sklush. I tried to read the evening news, smush. I sat down in the easy chair, splush. I tried to comb my wavy hair, slush. I took a dive into the sea, slush. Would you like to shake hands with me, squash? Those sounds, yeah. They're all parentheticals, too. I love that fucking image. Stare into the abyss. Hi, Mom. She's raspberry jello. Important. That is important without the A at the end. It's just TNT. Ocean of jello. Said little A to big G. Without me, the sea would be set. The flea would be flat. And earth and heaven wouldn't be without me. Said big G to little A. Even the sack could still curse and spur. And the flea would fly in the same old wood. And earth and heaven still would be without thee. Gotta be really good at reading for this. Get a close up to see the. It's spelled really awkward. A world without A. Thumb face. There's a face upon my thumb. I did not paint it there. With pointy ears and winky eyes and greenish bristly hair, I keep it hidden from my friends so that they will not stare. It has a little twisty mouth and yellow teethies too. It snickers when I hold my fork and giggles when I'm blue, and laughs and laughs and laughs at everything I try to do. Is this Midori Days? Yes. It's just on a smaller scale. Look at that little guy. He's an asshole. Homework machine. The homework machine. Oh, the homework machine. Most perfect contraption that's ever been seen. Just put in your homework and drop in a dime. Snap on the switch and in 10 seconds time your homework comes out quick and clean as can be. Here it is, 9 plus 4, and the answer is 3. 3? Oh me. I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. Looks pretty complex though. I wonder if you can see how the homework machine works. Flawless. Ugh. 8 balloons. 8 balloons no one was buying, all broke loose one afternoon. 8 balloons with strings a flying, free to do what they wanted to. One flew up to touch the sun, pop. One thought highways might be fun, pop. One took a nap in a cactus pile, pop. One stayed to play with a careless child, pop. One tried to taste some bacon frying, pop. One fell in love with a porcupine, pop. One looked close in a crocodile's mouth, pop. And one sat around till his air ran out, whoosh. 8 balloons no one was buying, they broke loose and away they flew, free to float and free to fly, and free to pop where they wanted to. I think there's a life lesson in that one. Asians. If we meet and I say hi, that's a salutation. And if you ask me how I feel, that's consideration. And if we stop and talk a while, that's a conversation. And if we understand each other, that's communication. If we argue, scream, and fight, that's an altercation. If later we apologize, that's reconciliation. If we help each other home, that's cooperation. And all these Asians added up make civilization. And if I say this is a wonderful poem, is that exaggeration? Whee! You thought the balloon popped the kid? I mean, depends. If the kid was kind of rude, I could see it pop right there. Annihilation. Not included in this poem, but definitely part and parcel of the package. Musical career. She wanted to play the piano, but her hands couldn't reach the keys. And when her hands could finally reach the keys, her feet couldn't reach the floor. And when her hands could finally reach the keys and her feet could reach the floor, she didn't want to play that old piano anymore. Is this Rockadoodle?
There's a guy who, like, while he's doing random stuff, goes, "Annihilation!"
Oh yeah,
Extermination!
yeah. He's doing that priest. I can't remember, like the priestly bit, right?
Kind
Or
of. No.
he's kind of that character.
He's kind of just a dumb, tiny owl.
Wait, I'm thinking of Once Upon a Forest.
You are.
Where they go to the black church in the woods.
That's, yeah, that's what you're thinking of. They're crows, I think.
Oh, they are crows.
No, there's birds. Never mind.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking of the super racist Dumbo crows.
Oh no. Yeah, they were all different kinds of birds
Mm.
in Once Upon a Forest. Oh, sad. Yeah. I love Once Upon a Forest too. It's actually a pretty great movie. Also, the little
Tom Bluth is the shit.
Don Bluth also, but the little mouse girl was like total gender goals for me as a kid.
Abigail.
Abigail. So great.
Jay, we're gonna watch Don Bluth movies and cry.
Anteater. A genuine anteater, the pet man told my dad. Turns out it was an aunt-eater, and now my uncle's mad. Badger. I love the badger. Russell? No.
Russell.
Russell.
Yeah.
Russell.
Wait, Russell's the hedgehog.
Yeah. What was the
What
badger's
the hell is
name?
the badger's name?
I want to say Martin, but that's because it's a joke. It's not Martin. Martin's and oh wait, the badger was the
badger's
teacher.
The little girl who's dying.
Oh, that's right. There's two badgers though, because their
Yeah,
grandfather
Uncle Cornelius. The
Cornelius.
mentor badger.
Bucking Bronco. Can you ride the bucking Bronco? Can you stay in that old saddle till your teeth begin to rattle? Can you whoop and bounce and stick upon his back? Can you ride the bucking Bronco while he's snorting, smoking, and kicking, and your stomach starts to sicken and you feel as though your spine's about to crack? I can ride the bucking Bronco. I'll just sit up there and whistle till his strength begins to fizzle and he knows that I'm his master finally. Yes, I'll tame that bucking Bronco. You can see me sitting easy. Here's the bucking Bronco. And here's me. The little girl. Oh, that's really rough though. Snap. She was opening up her umbrella. She thought it was going to rain. When we all heard a snap, like the clap of a trap, and we never have seen her again. There's a good illustration on this one. You can see the little feet. How grim! You were adorable, so it was okay. Yes. Things kind of work out like that. Overdues. What do I do? What do I do? This library book is 42. Fuck. Sorry. Let me start over. What do I do? What do I do? This library book is 42 years overdue. I admit that it's mine, but I can't pay the fine. Should I turn it in or hide it again? What do I do? What do I do? Wild strawberries. Are wild strawberries really wild? Will they scratch an adult? Will they snap at a child? Should you pet them or let them run free where they roam? Could they never relax in a steam-heated home? Can they be trained to not growl at the guests? Will a litter box work or will they leave a mess? Can we make them a cowberry herding the cows? Or maybe a muleberry pulling the plows?
Oh, this is awesome.
Or maybe a huntberry chasing the grouse? Or maybe a watchberry guarding the house? And though they may curl up at your feet oh so sweetly, can you ever feel that you trust them completely? Or should we make a pet out of something less scary, like the domestic prune or the imported cherry? Anyhow, you've been warned, and I will not be blamed if your wild strawberry cannot be tamed. It is progressive. No, Shel Silverstein is progressive as fuck. You should definitely look up his other work. You can... You can clip it. You can totally clip that.
Edgar is the mole.
Edgar the Mole.
That's
Yes.
pissing me off.
Right? I couldn't remember that myself. No, he knew what he wanted to tell the kids, and I hope that other people like me were out there reading his work and learning all about this. Like, there's a lot of real talk content in here. When he started with a fuck. Yeah. Progressive. Oh, that kind of progressive. Also this. No, I actually gave a disclaimer at the beginning that I might curse because it is a children's book, but I am not really a children's entertainer. How to make a swing with no rope or border nails. First, grow a mustache, 100 inches long. Then loop it over a hickory stump. Make sure that limb is strong. Now pull yourself up off the ground and wait until spring, then swing. Fucking love the smug look on this fucking kid's face. He's got it. He did it. Gum eyeball. There's an eyeball in the gumball machine, right there between the red and the green, looking at me as if to say, you don't need any more gum today. Oh my god. Hot dog. I have a hot dog for a pet. The only kind my folks would let me get. And he does smell sort of bad, and yet he absolutely never gets the sofa wet. We have a butcher for a vet. The strangest vet you ever met. Guess we're the weirdest family yet to have a hot dog for a pet. What? And back here you can see the gum eyeball. I have a curved monitor, so this is kind of difficult, which is why I tilt the book whenever I lean in like this. Adventures of a Frisbee. The Frisbee, he got tired of sailing to and fro and to, and thought about the other things that he might like to do. So the next time that they threw him, he turned there in the sky and sailed away to try to find some new things he could try. He tried to be an eyeglass, but no one could see through him. He tried to be a UFO, but everybody knew him. He tried to be a dinner plate, but he got cracked and quit. He tried to be a pizza, but got tossed and baked a bit. He tried to be a hubcap, but the cars all moved too quick. He tried to be a record, but the spinning made him sick. He tried to be a quarter, but he was too big to spend, so he rolled home, quite glad to be a Frisbee once again. Come skating. They said, come skating. They said, it's so nice. They said, come skating. I've done it twice. They said, come skating. It sounded nice. I wore roller. They meant ice. Tossed and baked a bit. That's what I would like. I want to get tossed and baked a bit. the Mihu with an exactly what? Knock knock. Who's there? Me. Me who? That's right. What's right? Me who? That's what I want to know. What's what you want to know? Me who? Yes, exactly. Exactly what? Yes, I have an exactly what on a chain. Exactly what on a chain? Yes. Yes, what? No, exactly what? That's what I want to know. I told you exactly what. Exactly what? Yes. Yes, what? Yes, it's with me. What's with you? Exactly what? That's what's with me. Me who? Yes. Go away. Knock knock. These creatures. You can't really see the exactly what, but you get the idea. It's got a nice little hat on. I like that the Mihu has a single foot. Yoo-hoo. Clooney the Clown. I'll tell you the story of Clooney the Clown, who worked in a circus that came through the town. His shoes were too big and his hat was too small, but he just wasn't funny at all. He had a trombone to play silly sounds. He had a green dog and 1,000 balloons. Sorry, silly tunes. He was floppy and sloppy and skinny and tall, and he just wasn't funny at all. And every time he did a trick, everyone felt a little sick. And every time he told a joke, folks sighed as if their hearts were broke. And every time he lost a shoe, everyone looked awfully blue. And every time he stood on his head, everyone screamed, "Go back to bed." And every time he made a leap, and everybody fell asleep. And every time he ate his tie, everyone began to cry. And Clooney could not make any money simply because he was not funny. One day he said, "I'll tell this town how it feels to be an unfunny clown." And he told them all why he looked so sad, and he told them all why he felt so bad. He told of the pain and the rain and the cold. He told of the darkness in his soul. And after he finished his tale of woe, did everyone cry? Oh, no, no, no. They laughed till they shook the trees with ha-ha-has and he-he-he's. They laughed with howls and yowls and shrieks. They laughed all day. They laughed all week. They laughed until they had a fit. They laughed until their jackets split. The laughter spread for miles around to every city, every town, over mountains, across the sea, from Saint Tropez to Monsanti. And soon the world rang round, the whole world rang with laughter, lasting till forever after, while Clooney stood in the circus tent, with his head drooped low and his shoulders bent, and he said, "That's not what I meant. I'm funny just by accident." And while the world laughed outside, Clooney the Clown sat down and cried. I also want to point out the all caps Apex, real rough. Yeah, no, I fucking love that. That's one of my favorites. Sorry.
Now breathe, fam.
I do gotta breathe. Trying on clothes. I tried on the farmer's hat. Didn't fit. A little too small, just a bit. Too floppy. Couldn't get used to it. Took it off. I tried on the dancer's shoes. A little too loose. Not the kind you could use. For walking, didn't feel right in them. Kicked them off. I tried on the summer sun. Felt good. Nice and warm. Knew it would. Tried the grass beneath bare feet. Felt neat. Finally, felt well dressed. Nature's clothes just fit me best.
That hits me right in the collar.
Right? Oh, God.
Dang, Shel Silverstein, why you gotta do that to me? I'm like buzzed over
Oh. I need another second. Oh. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Just give me for a good time. I feel so attacked. No. Shapes. A square was sitting quietly outside his rectangular shack when a triangle came down, kerplunk, and struck him in the back. "I must go to the hospital," cried the wounded square. So a passing rolling circle picked him up and took him there.
here. What the hell?
What?
God, this is what you're choosing to do on your birthday?
Yeah. I love
You're a
this.
sadist.
I'm not a sadist. This is great. You're growing.
Am I? Am I growing?
Yeah,
right now?
we're growing. Tired. Fucking brace yourself. I've been working so hard, you just wouldn't believe, and I'm tired. There's so little time and so much to achieve, and I'm tired. I've been lying here holding the grass in its place, pressing a leaf with the side of my face, tasting the apples to see if they're sweet, counting the toes on a centipede's feet. I've been memorizing the shape of that cloud, warning the robins to not chirp so loud, shooing the butterflies off the tomatoes, keeping an eye out for floods and tornadoes. I've been supervising the work of the ants and thinking of pruning the cantaloupe plants, timing the sun to see what time it sets, calling the fish to swim into my nets. And I've taken 12,041 breaths, and I'm tired.
Why do you hate me?
Prehistoric. These lizards, toads, and turtles, dear, with which you love to play, were dinosaurs and plesiosaurs in prehistoric days. They fought the armored ankylosaurs and wild brontosaurs, gleptodons and varanids and hungry plesiosaurs, shark-like ichthyosaurs and flying pteranodon, tyrannosaurus, carnosaurus, and treacherous trachodon, shrieking archaeopteryx, triceratops as well, and those that I cannot pronounce or even try to spell. But anyway, they slowly turned to lizards and turtles and snakes, and all the brave and wild and woolly prehistoric people, well, they turned into us, for goodness sakes. I think that's really good too, because he has a lot, like a few religious themes in his books, and I don't know if he's a religious person, but he does that. But also, here's a poem literally about evolution. My guitar. Oh, wouldn't it be the most wondrous thing to have a guitar that could play and sing by itself? What an absolute joy it would be to have a guitar that didn't need me. Spelling bee. I got stung by a bee. I won't tell you where. I got stung by a bee. I was just lying there, and it tattooed a message I can't let you see that spells out, "Hello, you've been stung by a bee." The guitar that plays itself is actually pretty horrific. But it's where are we at? "Hello, I've been stung by a bee" is tattooed on this person's butt. Always sprinkle pepper. Now this one, I want you all to pay attention, because this is important. You don't want to deal with this. Always sprinkle pepper in your hair. Always sprinkle pepper in your hair. For then, if you are kidnapped by a wild barbazoop and sells you to a ragged hag who wants you for her soup, she'll pick you up and sniff you, and then she'll sneeze, achoo, and say, "My tot, you're much too hot. I fear you'll never do." And with a shout, she'll throw you out, and you'll run away from there, and soon you'll be safe at home, a-sitting in your chair, if you always, 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 always sprinkle pepper in your hair. Peckin'. The saddest thing I ever did see was a woodpecker pecking at a plastic tree. He looked at me and, friend, he says things ain't as sweet as they used to be. Me. That poor woodpecker. It's hot. Pepper helps with bugs too. Lovely. It's hot. I can't get cool. I've drunk a quart of lemonade. I think I'll take my shoes off and sit around in the shade. It's hot. My back is sticky. The sweat rolls down my chin. I think I'll take my clothes off and sit around in my skin. It's hot. I've tried with electric fans and pools and ice cream cones. I think I'll take my skin off and sit around in my bones. It's still hot.
What the hell is happening?
Check the screen and see. Imagine being that hot.
That's like a medical condition, fam.
Yeah, it's something about not having skin.
Personal space, one.
Personal
No
space.
personal space. Don't touch my personal space.
Turtle. Our turtle did not eat today. Just lies on his back in the strangest way and doesn't move. I tickled him and poked at him and dangled a string in front of him. And he just lies there, stiff and cold, and sort of staring straight ahead. Jim says he's dead. Oh no, say I. A wooden turtle cannot die.
What?
It's a trick poem. There's actually there's more trick poems in Where the Sidewalk Ends, but like the whole premise gets turned on its head in the last few lines. I'll set you up. Crowded tub. There's too many kids in this tub. There's too many elbows to scrub. I just washed a behind that I'm sure wasn't mine. There's too many kids in this tub.
That's just fun.
Yeah, right. And they got all the kids crammed in there. Nobody's getting clean. Channels. Channel 1's no fun. Channel 2 is just news. Channel 3 is hard to see. Channel 4 is just a bore. Channel 5 is all jive. Channel 6 needs to be fixed. Channel 7 and Channel 8, just old movies, not so great. Channel 9's a waste of time. Channel 10 is off, my child. Wouldn't you like to talk a while? Hippo's Hope. This one, this one's a little different. It has 3 different endings. It's a 3-stanza poem. No. You don't want to talk a while? Well, now we have more than 10 channels. So it's a 3-stanza poem, but the final stanza is the ending, and it changes depending on what you decide. There's a happy ending, an unhappy ending, and a chicken ending. I'm just going to read them all because, you know, why not? Obviously. It's called Hippo's Hope. There once was a hippo who wanted to fly. Fly Heidi, try Heidi, my Heidi ho. So he sewed him some wings that could flap through the sky. Sky Heidi, fly Heidi, why Heidi go? He climbed to the top of a mountain of snow. Snow Heidi, slow Heidi, oh Heidi do. With the clouds high above and the sea down below. Where Heidi, there Heidi, scare Heidi boo. The happy ending. And he flipped and he flapped, and he bellowed so loud. Now Heidi, loud Heidi, proud Heidi poop. And he sailed like an eagle off into the clouds. High Heidi, fly Heidi, by Heidi doop. Or, and he leapt like a frog, and he fell like a stone. Stone Heidi, lone Heidi, own Heidi to floop. Flop, rather. And he crashed and he drowned and he broke all his bones. Bones Heidi moans, Heidi groans, Heidi glop. Or he looked up at the sky and looked down at the sea. Sea, Heidi, free Heidi, wee Heidi way. And he turned and went home and had cookies and tea. That's Heidi, all Heidi, I have to say. This illustration gets kind of bent in the middle. It's the hippo, though, with some extra wingage. A wingsuit. I'm sure that one has like a melody to it that I don't know. What if, last night while I lay thinking here, some what ifs crawled inside my ear and pranced and partied all night long and sang their same old what if song. What if I'm dumb in school? What if they close the swimming pool? What if I get beat up? What if there's poison in my cup? What if I start to cry? What if I get sick and die? What if I flunk that test? What if green hair grows on my chest? What if nobody likes me? What if a bolt of lightning strikes me? What if I don't grow taller? What if my head starts getting smaller? What if the fish won't bite? What if the wind tears up my kite? What if they start a war? What if my parents get divorced? What if the bus is late? What if my teeth don't grow in straight? What if I tear my pants? What if I never learn to dance? Everything seems swell, and then the nighttime what if strike again.
Jesus! Jesus!
Welcome to the real. You know what's funny though is that by the time I read this book, my mom had already been divorced once. I mean, my mom and dad, obviously, but it was a perspective I lived with her. Sourface Ann. Sourface Ann, with your chin in your hand, haven't you ever been pleased? You used to complain that you had no fur coat. Now you complain of the fleas. Poor Anne. Checklist. Checklist? Oh. You mean that list?
Yikes!
I don't know what you mean. Or is that the what ifs checklist? Because I totally get that idea. The Climbers. A mountain climbing exploration took us to these distant peaks where no one's ever been before. Was it my imagination? Did I feel this mountain move? Did I hear it snore? Wow. This one's all about the illustration. The what ifs. Yeah, checklist. Checklist of what ifs. Got 'em. We got 'em all.
Got 'em all! What if my dad dies of cancer?
Right? Oh. Rockabye. Rockabye baby in the treetop. Don't you know a treetop is no safe place to rock? And who put you up there in your cradle too? Baby, I think someone down here's got it in for you. The little boy and the old man. Said the little boy, sometimes I drop my spoon. Said the little old man, I do that too. The little boy whispered, I wet my pants. I do that too, laughed the little old man. Said the little boy, I often cry. The old man nodded, so do I. But worst of all, said the boy, it seems grown-ups don't pay attention to me. And he felt the warmth of the wrinkled old hand. I know what you mean, said the little old man.
Yes. The worst birthday ever.
What? I'm having a great time.
Oh, good for you.
Surprise. My grandpa went to Myrtle Beach and sent us back a turtle. And then he went to Kathmandu and mailed a real live cockatoo. No. Sorry, let me go back. My grandpa went to Myrtle Beach and sent us back a turtle each. And then he went to Kathmandu and mailed a real live cockatoo. From Rio, an iguana came. A smelly goat arrived from Spain. And now he's in India, you see. My grandpa always thinks of me. Yeah. Boy. Grandpa got him something big. How do you even ship that? Handle with care. Postage due, by the way. Grandpa COD'd an elephant to their kids. Do you want to accept the charges?
No!
Ticklish Tom. Did you hear about Ticklish Tom? He got tickled by his mom, wiggled and giggled and fell on the floor, laughed and rolled right out the door. All the way to school, and then he got tickled by his friends, laughed till he fell off his stool, and laughed and rolled right out of school. Down the stairs and finally stopped till he got tickled by a cop. And all the more he kept giggling, and all the more folks kept tickling. He shrieked and screamed and rolled around and laughed his way right out of town. Through the country, down the road, he got tickled by a toad. Past the mountains, crossed the plain, tickled by the falling rain. Tickled by the soft brown grass, tickled by the clouds that passed. Giggling, rolling on his back, he rolled on the railroad track. Rumble, rumble, whistle, roar, and Tom ain't ticklish anymore. That's another trick one. The nail biter. Some people manicure their nails. Some people trim them neatly. Some people keep them filed down. I bite them off completely.
Hey!
Yes, it's a nasty habit, but before you start to scold, remember, I have never, ever scratched a single soul. I forgot about that one. Oh. The Fly is In. This one is tough. You gotta like listen to it because it's a bunch of nested rhyming. I mean, they kind of rhyme. It's all nested couplets, and I'm only telling you that so it doesn't sound like you can brace yourself. You have to listen to this. You actually have to pay attention to get what's going on here. The fly is in, the milk is in, the bottle is in, the fridge is in, the kitchen is in, the house is in, the town. The flea is on, the dog is on, the quilt is on, the bed is on, the carpet is on, the floor is on, the ground. The worm is under, the ground is under, the grass is under, the blanket is under, the diaper is under, the baby is under the tree. The bee is bothering, the puppy is bothering, the dog is bothering, the cat is bothering, the baby is bothering, mama is bothering me. Also, this isn't specifically for my birthday. This was a separate community challenge.
I know.
It just so happened to fall on my birthday. I wanted to point that out.
You're a happy birthday.
I'm a happy birthday. I am a birthday. I literally wrote on Twitter, I'm a birthday.
Yeah.
I just like that. Strange wind. What a strange wind it was today. Whistling and whirling and skirling away like a worried old woman with so much to say. What a strange wind it was today. What a strange wind it was today. Cool and clear from a sky so gray. And my hat stayed on, but my head blew away. What a strange wind it was today. Woo. That's happened to me a couple times. 1, 2. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Buckle your own shoe. Who said that? I did. What are you doing with those silly buckles on your shoes anyway? 3, 4, shut the door. You shut it. You opened it. 5, 6, pick up sticks. Why should I pick them up? Why... Do you think I'm your slave? Buckle my shoe, shut the door, pick up sticks. Next thing you'll be telling me to lay 'em straight. But it's only a poem. 9, 10, a big fat... Oh, never mind. Wound. The wound. Did I pronounce it weird? Tusk, tusk. The walrus got braces, and that's why his face is tangled of wires and steel. He'll sit and he'll wait till his tusks are both straight, and then think how happy he'll feel. But meanwhile, they're ruining his meal. You died? Which one killed you? Who did this? Who killed you? Was it the strange wind? Because I like that one too. Oh, I should show the walrus. Those are some massive braces. Captain Blackbeard did what? The sea is a-roaring, the seagulls they screech, the bosun is rants and he raves. And the whole scurvy crew says, "It's true, yes, it's true. Old Captain Blackbeard shaved." He had buried some treasures and bodies as well, and was just sailing back from the cave when he calls for bold water and stomps down below, and gore, but he comes up shaved. There's a chickenish stubble and fish belly skin on that face once so blazing and brave, and his old faithful parrot can hardly bear it since old Captain Blackbeard shaved. He shouts, "Board and sinker!" It sounds like a clinker, and gets lots of laughs from the slaves. And his loud bawdy songs seem a little bit wrong since old Captain Blackbeard shaved. Now, no one is fearing his look or his lash, or his threats of a watery grave, and things ain't the same in the pirating game since old Captain Blackbeard shaved. I don't know, like, he's probably still debonair and just doesn't look the part. Whatever. It's hard to drink rum and orange juice with a beard anyway. I'm thinking of a specific type of pirate, though. The one probably that Shell was thinking of when he wrote the poem. Magic carpet.
Oh, yes.
You have a magic carpet that will whiz you through the air to Spain or Maine or Africa if you just tell it where. So will you let it take you where you've never been before? Or will you buy some drapes to match and use it on your floor? I appreciate it. I appreciate going back. Outside or underneath. Bob bought a $100 suit but couldn't afford any underwear. Says he, if your outside looks real good, no one will know what's under there. Jack bought some $100 shorts but wore a suit with rips and tears. Says he, it won't matter what people see as long as I know what's under there. Tom bought a flute and a box of crayons, some bread and cheese and a golden pear, and as for his suit or his underwear, he doesn't think about them much or care. It's all the same to the clam. You may leave the clam on the ocean floor. It's all the same to the clam. For 100,000 years or more, it's all the same to the clam. You may bury him deep in the mud and muck, or carry him around to bring you luck, or use him for a hockey puck. It's all the same to the clam. You may call him Jim or Frank or Nell. It's all the same to the clam. Or make an ashtray from his shell. It's all the same to the clam. You may take him riding in the rain on the train, or leave him sitting in the rain. You'll never hear the clam complain. It's all the same to the clam. Yes, the world may stop or the world may spin. It's all the same to the clam. And the sky may come a-falling in. It's all the same to the clam. A man may sing his endless songs of wronging rights and righting wrongs. The clam just sets and gets along. It's all the same to the clam. I mean, I have some contention with that one. I don't think a clam would appreciate getting used as a hockey puck.
Or an ashtray.
Or an ashtray, no. That's specifically something that happens after the clam is gone. Hula eel. Take an eel, make a loop. Use him as a hula hoop. Feel him twist and twirl and spin. Down your ankles, round your chin. Tighter, tighter, tighter yet. Ain't an eel a lovely pet? Hey, answer when I talk to you. Don't just stand there turning blue. What? Bored. I can't afford a skateboard. I can't afford an outboard. I can't afford a surfboard. All I can afford is a board. But look at that board. This kid got his money's worth. Standing is stupid. Standing is stupid, crawling is a curse, skipping is silly, walking is worse, hopping is hopeless, jumping is a chore, sitting is senseless, leaning's a bore, running's ridiculous, jogging's insane. Guess I'll go upstairs and lie down again. Jogging is a little insane, but it's better than running.
I like to draw.
Same. Who ordered the broiled face? Well, here you are, just as you ordered, broiled face with butter sauce, mashed potatoes on the side. What do you mean you wanted me fried? Ah. You got your face. You better eat it. That's an expensive plate. The man in the iron pail mask. He's the man in the iron pail mask. He can do the most difficult task. He can duel, he can joust, he can charge, he can chase, he can climb, he can rhyme, he can wrestle and race. He'll show you his courage, but never his face, no matter how often you ask. He's the brave and the fearless, the usually tearless man in the iron pail mask. Gulu. The Gulu bird, she has no feet. She cannot walk upon the street. She cannot build herself a nest. She cannot land and take a rest. Through rain and snow and thunderous skies, she weeps forever as she flies, and lays her eggs high over town, and prays they fall safely down. Headache. Having a tree growing up out of me is often a worrisome thing. I'm twisty and thorny and branchy and bare, but wait till you see me in spring. Oh, fuck. Quick trip. This one's a 4-page spread. We've been caught by the quick digesting gink, and now we're dodging his teeth. I like the chewing too. Wow. And now we're resting in his intestine, and now we're back out on the street. Little Abigail and the Beautiful Pony. This one is fucked up. Trigger warning, this poem is fucked up. There was a girl named Abigail who was taking a drive through the country with her parents when she spied the beautiful sad-eyed gray and white pony, and next to it was a sign that said, "For sale, cheap." "Oh," said Abigail, "may I have that pony, may I please?" And her parents said, "No, you may not." And Abigail said, "But I must have that pony." And her parents said, "Well, you can't have that pony, but you can have a nice butter pecan ice cream cone when we get home." And Abigail said, "I don't want a butter pecan ice cream cone. I want that pony. I must have that pony." And her parents said, "Be quiet and stop nagging. You're not getting that pony." And Abigail began to cry and said, "If I don't get that pony, I'll die." And her parents said, "You won't die. No child ever died yet from not getting a pony." And Abigail felt so bad that when she got home, she went to bed, and she couldn't eat, and she couldn't sleep, and her heart was broken, and she did die, all because of a pony that her parents wouldn't buy. This is a good story to read to your folks when they won't buy you something you want. The fucking... I hope I said that like in meter, because it's a really difficult poem to get in meter. It's like purposely, yeah, it's purposely written to be like jarring and argumentative. And on this page, it's a full page of Abigail in bed with her parents, and it's a poster of the pony they wouldn't buy me. Too late. And her mother says, "Oh, if she were only alive, I would buy her 100 ponies." And the father says, "Oh, what fools we were."
You're a goddamn cutie.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Hiccup cure. Hick, 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 hick. Want to cure your hiccups quick? Stick out your tongue and bite your lip. And hold your breath and take one hip. Pull back your left foot and kick up. Now you see you've cured your hiccup. Nothing much to it. Don't you feel swell? Oh, well. Oh, what fools. That's Shel Silverstein teaching satire. The painter. I'm the man who paints the stripes upon the zebras, and I also paint the warts upon the toad. And with this brush and pot, I give leopards lovely spots, and add some color to the chipmunk's coat. I paint the flamin' red on robin redbreast. I pour the blue on bluegills by the shore. And when the fireflies dim, I splash silver paint on him, and he shines more brightly than he did before. Jack Frost, he's just a part-time working fella, touching up leaves and trees and things. He's famouser than me, but I am happier than he, 'cause I paint the ones that runs and flies and sings. I like this little quasi-deity that Shell creates. I think they should be a deity in Dungeons and Dragons. Nobody. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. Nobody picks me peaches and pears. Nobody offers me candies and cokes. Nobody listens and laughs at my jokes. Nobody helps when I get in a fight. Nobody does all my homework at night. Nobody misses me. Nobody cries. Nobody thinks I'm a wonderful guy. So if you ask me who's my best friend in a whiz, I'll stand up and tell you nobody is. But yesterday night I got quite scared. I woke up and nobody just wasn't there. I came out and reached out for nobody's hand in the darkness where nobody usually stands. And then I poked through the house in each cranny and nook. But I found somebody each place that I looked. I searched till I'm tired, and now with the dawn, there's no doubt about it. Nobody's gone. Jesus Juice, hello. Welcome. That's your favorite one? Really? I love that one too. Because it's like, it starts out, it's another trick poem, where it starts out with a purpose intention, and it totally flips. I fucking love that one. Zebra question. I asked the zebra, are you black with white stripes or white with black stripes? And the zebra asked me, are you good with bad habits or are you bad with good habits? Are you noisy with quiet times or are you quiet with noisy times? Are you happy with some sad days or are you sad with some happy days? Are you neat with some sloppy ways or are you sloppy with some neat ways? And on 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 he went. I'll never ask a zebra about stripes again. I never thought I'd have so much fun just reading a book. That's not true. I read a lot, actually. Just usually I do it alone. The Sword Swallower. The great sword swallower Solimar, he wears no ties or collars. He leans back, opens up his mouth, and gulp, his sword he swallers. I guess he finds it fun to feel that steel down in his belly. It's fine for he, but as for me, I'll take some bread and jelly. Arrows. I shot an arrow toward the sky. It hit a white cloud flying by. The cloud fell dying to the shore. I don't shoot arrows anymore. Whee! The Toad and the Kangaroo. Excuse me. Said the toad to the kangaroo, I can hop and so can you. So if we marry, we'll have a child who can jump a mountain or hop a mile, and we will call it a toadaroo. Said the hopeful toad to the kangaroo. Said the kangaroo, my dear, what a perfectly lovely idea. I would most gladly marry you, but as for having a toadaroo, I'd rather call it a kangarood. Said the kangaroo to the frowning toad. So they argued but couldn't agree on rangatoo or kangaree, and finally the toad said, I don't give a dang. If it's a rook-a-toad or a toad-a-kang, I really don't feel like marrying you. Fine with me, said the kangaroo. And the toad had no more to say. And the kangaroo just hopped away, and they never married or had a child that could jump a mountain and hop a mile. What a loss, what a shame, just 'cause they couldn't agree on a name. I love the wordplay. Kangatude, and crocodile, toad a kang. Play ball. Okay, let's play ball. I think that we have everyone we need. I'll be the strong arm pitcher who can throw with blinding speed. And Pete will be the catcher who squats low and pounds his mitt. And Mike will be the home run king who snarls and waits to hit. One loud and long and hard and high, way out beyond the wall. So let's get started. What? You? Oh, yeah. You can be the ball. This kid is dedicated, though. Friendship. I've discovered a way to stay friends forever. There's really nothing to it. I simply tell you what to do and you do it. Examination. I went to the doctor. He reached down my throat. He pulled out a shoe and a little toy boat. He pulled out a skate and a bicycle seat and said, be more careful about what you eat. Poem-sicle. This one's dangerous. If you add sickle to your pop, would he become a popsicle? Would a mop become a mopsicle? Would a cop become a copsicle? Would a chop become a chopsicle? Would a drop become a dropsicle? Would a hop become a hopsicle? I guess it's time to stop sickle. Or is it time sickle to stop sickle? Hey sickle, I can't stop sickle. Oh sickle, my sickle will sickle, ill is sickle. We'll have sickle, to sickle, talk sickle, like sickle, this sickle, forever sickle, hot sickle. That's hard. It just fucking falls off at the end. I love it. Senses. Goonie. A mouth was talking to a nose and an eye, a passing listening ear. Said, pardon me, but you spoke so loud I couldn't help but overhear. But the mouth just closed and the nose turned up and the eye just looked away, and the ear with nothing more to hear went sadly on its way. Hinges. If we had hinges on our heads, there wouldn't be no sin, 'cause we could take the bad stuff out and leave the good stuff in. That'd be okay. Did you clean behind your hinges? What?
Nothing, I'm fucking fucked up and on Facebook.
Aw,
It's cool, I'm like half listening, I'm trying.
aw, no, you're good. You do what you must.
I love you so goddamn much.
I love you too.
I'm like kinda drunk and on drugs.
Yay! Drinking and drugs. Hinge gunk. Yeah, you don't want to clean out that gunk. Gotta get behind your hinges and maybe inside your brain a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Fear. Barnabas Browning was scared of drowning, so he never would swim, or get in a boat, or take a bath, or cross a moat. He just sat day and night with his door locked tight and the windows nailed down, shaking in fear that a wave might appear, and cried so many tears that they filled up his room, and he drowned. I try. I try not to drown in my own tears.
He's bad at it,
I'm very bad at it.
but he's cute.
Aw. Twistable, turnable man. He's the twistable, turnable, squeezable, pullable, stretchable, foldable man. He can crawl in your pocket, or fit in your locket, or screw himself into a 20-volt socket, or stretch himself up to the steeple or taller, or squeeze himself into a thimble or smaller. Yes, he can. Of course he can. He's the twistable, turnable, squeezable, pullable, stretchable, shrinkable man. And he lives it and he lives a passable life with his squeezable, lovable, kissable, huggable, pullable, tuggable wife. And they have two twistable kids who bend up the way that they did, and they turn and they stretch just as much as they can for this bendable, foldable, do what you're toldable, easily moldable, buy what you're soldable, washable, mendable, highly dependable, buyable, saleable, always available, bounceable, shakeable, almost unbreakable, twistable, turnable man. It's an interesting one. There's actually an image of one. Maybe it's an allegory for like the head of a household having to do so many things. Who knows? Nowadays things are different but the same. You are a squish wife.
Yay!
Batty. The baby bat screamed out in fright. Turn on the dark. I'm afraid of the light. Ooh. This one is interesting. It is a full-page illustration of children on strike, and the poem is entitled Union for Children's Rights.
Yo, that shit's important.
Strike, strike for children's rights. Shorter school hours, longer weekends, higher allowances, less baths and showers, no Brussels sprouts, more root beer, and 17 summer vacations a year. If you're ready to strike, line up right here. Hitting. Use a log to hit a hog. Use a twig to hit a pig. Use a rake to hit a snake. Use a swatter to hit an otter. Use a ski to hit a bee. And use a feather when you hit me. No what?
Don't hit the animals.
Don't hit the animals. No, that's true. Don't use anything to hit anything. Unless you want to hit me with that stare. Ah, yeah. Oh, no. It's a carrot. Smack.
Oh, Jay can smack me though. I'm fine with that.
Catching. I tried to catch a cold as he went running past on a damp and chilly odd afternoon in autumn. I tried to catch a cold, but he skittered by so fast that I missed him. But I'm glad to hear you caught him. This is called Deaf Donald, and it is literally written in sign language.
Dude, that's rad.
Right.
It's rad as shit.
So I'm actually going to do the sign language.
Oh, God bless.
Right, it has to be done. I don't know how to set up my book here to read. Deaf Donald met Talkie Susie, but was all he could do. And Sue said, Donald, I sure do like you, but was all he could do. And Sue asked Donald, do you like me too? But was all he could do. Goodbye then, Donald, I'm leaving you. But was all he could do. And she left forever, so she never knew that means I love you. Kind of sad.
Super sad. What the hell?
But that's like, I think that's where the lesson is. It's like, I don't know. The child reading might think about being able to communicate across the language barrier.
I love you.
Oh, I love you. Have fun. It is safe to swim in Penrose Park. I guarantee there are no sharks. Not a one.
That's not a shark. You're correct.
Dog's Day. They could have sung me just one song to kind of sort of celebrate, or left a present on the lawn, a juicy bone, a piece of steak, instead of just a candle on this lump of dog food on my plate. But no one cares when a dog was born. This ain't much of a birthday cake.
I care when dogs are born.
Me too.
I don't know when Goonie's birthday is.
I don't either, which is fair.
His gotcha day is in September.
Ooh, that's when we'll celebrate then. Congrats, Rangoon. Skin Stealer. This one's kind of freaky. This evening I unzipped my skin and carefully unscrewed my head, exactly as I always do when I prepare myself for bed. And while I slept, a cuckoo came, as naked as could be, and put on the skin and screwed on the head that once belonged to me. Now wearing my feet, he runs through the street in a most disgraceful way, doing things and saying things I'd never do or say, tickling the children and kicking the men and dancing the ladies away. So if he makes your bright eyes cry or makes your poor head spin, that scoundrel you see, it's not really me. He's the cuckoo who's wearing my skin.
Yo.
Yeah. This is amazing drawing. I'll show it again, in fact. Ladies first. I fucking love this one. Pamela Purse yelled, "Ladies first!" pushing in front of the ice cream line. Pamela Purse yelled, "Ladies first!" grabbing the ketchup at dinner time. And climbing on the morning bus, she shoved right past all of us. And there'd be a tiff or a fight or a fuss when Pamela Purse yelled, "Ladies first!" Pamela Purse screamed, "Ladies first!" when we went off on our jungle trip. Pamela Purse said her thirst was worst and guzzled our water every sip. And when we got grabbed by that wild savage band who tied us together and made us all stand in a long line in front of the king of the land, a cannibal known as Fry 'em Up Dan, who sat on his throne in a bib so grand, with a lick on his lips and a fork in his hand, he tried to decide who'd be first in the pan. From back of the line, in that shrill voice of hers, Pamela Purse yelled, "Ladies first!" I apologize for the S word, by the way. Because, I don't know, it's kind of rude. This this poem has a strange premise, but Pamela got what she deserved, I thought. Frozen Dream. I'll take the dream I had last night and put it in my freezer. So someday long and far away, when I'm an old gray geezer, I'll take it out and thaw it out, this lovely dream I've frozen, and boil it up and sit me down and dip my old cold toes in.
That's adorable.
He's dreaming. He's got dream number 5 there.
I like that guy.
The Lost Cat. We can't find the cat. We don't know where she's at. Oh, where did she go? Does anyone know? Let's ask this walking hat. Also, this is one of my favorite drawings. Is this cat walking along? God's Wheel. God said to me with kind of a smile, "Hey, how would you like to be God for a while and steer the world?" "Okay," says I, "I'll give it a try. Where do I sit? How much do I get? What time is lunch? When can I quit?" "Give me back that wheel," says God. "I don't think you're quite ready yet." This one's a giant wheel crank in the earth. Do you want that responsibility?
What?
Would you like to be God for a while?
Not really.
Okay. Shadow Race. Every time I've raced my shadow, when the sun was at my back, it always ran ahead of me and always got the best of me. But every time I raced my shadow when my face was toward the sun, I won. Here's another weird fucking one. I love this. It's called Clarence. Clarence Lee from Tennessee loved the commercial he saw on TV. He watched with wide, believing eyes and bought everything they advertised. Cream to make his skin feel better, spray to make his hair look wetter, bleach to make his white things whiter, stylish jeans that fit much tighter, toothpaste for his cavities, and powder for his doggy's fleas, purple mouthwash for his breath, deodorant to stop his sweat. He bought each cereal they presented, bought each game that they invented. Then one day he looked and saw a brand new ma and better pa, new improved in every way. Hurry, order yours today. So of course our little Clarence sent off for 2 brand new parents. The new ones came in the morning mail. The old ones he sold at a garage sale, and now they all are going fine. His new folks treat him sweet and kind. His old ones work in a old coal mine. So if your ma and pa are mean and make you eat your lima beans and make you wash and make you wait and never let you stay up late and scream and scold and preach and pout, it simply means you're wearing out. They're wearing out. So send off for 2 brand new parents and you'll be happy as little Clarence. Rhino pen. Tell me then, of all you've seen, what could be more preposterous than forgetting your pen and writing a theme with the horn of a patient's rhinoceros? I fucking love that. I wish I had like little pen scratching sound effects for that one. If I had wheels instead of feet and roses instead of eyes, then I could drive to the flower show and maybe win a prize. Push button. I push the light switch button and click, the light goes on. I push the lawnmower button and boom, it mows the lawn. I push the root beer button and whoosh, it fills my cup. I push the glove compartment button, clack, it opens up. I push the TV button and zap, there's Wyatt Earp. I push my belly button.
Yo.
Fuck. Kidnapped. This morning, I got kidnapped by 3 masked men. They stopped me on the sidewalk and offered me some candy. And when I wouldn't take it, they grabbed me by the collar and pinned my arms behind me. And shoved me in the back seat of this big black limousine and tied my hands behind my back with sharp and rusty wire. Then they put a blindfold on me so I couldn't see where they took me and plugged up my ears with cotton so I couldn't hear their voices and drove for 20 miles or at least for 20 minutes and then dragged me from the car down to some cold and moldy basement where they stuck me in a corner and went off to get the ransom, leaving one of them to guard me with a shotgun pointed at me, tied up sitting on a stool. That's why I'm late for school. Suspense. Oh, murdering Jack tied Lau's. Sorry, I fucking can't read. Oh, murdering Jack tied Louise to the track in a plan that was grisly and gory, while back in the shack was her marvelous Mac, held prisoner there by the outlaw Suntory. Then the wolf pack attacked, and then down from the stack, with 6 guns ablaze, jumping young Bill McClory. A crash and a cry. And I'm sorry, but I've forgotten the rest of the story. Dinner guest. When the razor-toothed swine comes to my house to dine, you may find me in France or Detroit, or off in Khartoum, or in the spare room of Uncle Ed's place in Beloit. You may find me in Philly, Racine, or Rabat. You may reach me in Malmo or Gore. You may see me in Sikkim, and likely as not, you will run into me at the store. You may find me in Humbug or up in St. Paul, in Kyoto, Kenosha, or Nome. But one thing is sure, if you find me at all, you will never find me at home. And we're going to fight this creature in an upcoming event. No, I don't fucking know. Just, this would be the house. I have no perspective. This is an issue. This house, and this is who you're entertaining. In search of Cinderella, from dusk to dawn, from town to town, without a single clue, I seek the tender, slender foot to fit this crystal shoe. From dusk to dawn I try it on, each damsel that I meet, and still love her so. Oh, but oh, I've started hating feet. So good. Almost perfect. Almost perfect, but not quite. Those were the words of Mary Hume at her 7th birthday party, looking around the ribboned room. This tablecloth is pink, not white. Almost perfect, but not quite. Almost perfect, but not quite. Those were the words of grown-up Mary, talking about her handsome beau, the one she wasn't gonna marry. Squeezes me a bit too tight. Almost perfect, but not quite. Almost perfect, but not quite. Those were the words of old Miss Hume, teaching in the 7th grade, grading papers in the gloom. And late at night up in a room, they never crossed their T's just right. Almost perfect, but not quite. 98, the day she died, complaining about the spotless floor. People shook their heads and sighed, guess she'll like heaven more. Up went her soul on feathered wings, out the door, up out of sight. Another voice from heaven came. Almost perfect, but not quite.
Fuck.
Yes! I'm glad you're in the room with me.
Why?
Because that's the perfect point for a fuck. Pie problem. If I eat one more piece of pie, I'll die. If I can't have one more piece of pie, I'll die. So since it's decided I must die, I might as well have one more piece of pie.
It's true.
Oh my. Chomp. Gulp. Bye. The oak and the rose. An oak tree and a rose bush grew, young and green together, talking the talk of growing things, wind and water and weather. And while the rose bush sweetly bloomed, the oak tree grew so high that now it spoke of newer things, eagles, mountains, peaks, and sky. I guess you think you're pretty great, the rose was heard to cry, screaming out as loud as possibly could to the treetop in the sky. And you have no time for flower talk now that you've grown so tall. It's not so much that I've grown, said the tree. It's just that you've stayed small. Wow. I think it's a fair point. I do believe Shell is telling us we should try to be trees.
I want to be a tree.
Me too. This one is really funny. They've put a brassiere on the camel. They put a brassiere on the camel. She wasn't dressed properly, you know. They've put a brassiere on the camel so that her humps wouldn't show. And they're making other respectable plans. They're even insisting the pigs should wear pants. They'll dress up the ducks if we give them a chance, since they've put a brassiere on the camel. They've put a brassiere on the camel. They claim she's more decent this way. They've put a brassiere on the camel. The camel has nothing to say. They squeezed her into it. I'll never know how. They say that she looks more respectable now. Lord knows what they've got in mind for the cow, since they've put a brassiere on the camel. Hashtag women's rights. This bridge. This bridge will only take you halfway there, to those mysterious lands you long to see, through gypsy camps and swirling Arab fairs, and moonlit woods where unicorns run free. So come and walk a while with me and share the twisting trails and wondrous worlds I've known. But this bridge will only take you halfway there. The last few steps you'll have to take alone. I apologize for racial slurs also. Shell was trying to be inclusive. He did not know. That's the last poem in the original print of the book. There's 12 more though, because this book is a reprint. And I've never even heard these before. I have no idea. I don't know what to expect. I want to take a little bit of a break though. Rhoda's dress. Oh, that draggedy, baggedy, shaggedy, saggedy, raggedy dress of Rhoda's. She was ashamed to go to school lest somebody would notice, and so she got the Goonie bird and set him in her hair, and now nobody notices that worn-out dress she wears. Fuck yeah.
The burp.
The burb. Creative. Everyone says be creative. Invent something new and they'll buy it. And I've just invented that mustard ice cream and nobody here wants to try it. The snack. This looks sinister. I found a clam beside the sea, inside a seedy shack. Says I to the clam, dear sir or ma'am, allow me to call you Jack. Will you come home with me for company, and maybe a midnight snack? For I have some nicey spicy sauce to pour upon your back. I put that clam in a pewter pot and boiled a burbling brew, and he soaked and he steamed and his green eyes gleamed, and he grew and he grew and he grew. He was oh so small. Now he's 12 feet tall, and I'm feeling rather blue, 'cause he's pouring Tabasco sauce on my back. I wonder what he'll do. It's so good. Garbage soup recipe. How do we make a garbage soup? A little glop, a little goop, a cup of slop, a quart of bunk, and then half a tablespoon of gunk, a pinch of grit, a dash of grime, a half a scuzz, a squeeze of lime. Aha, it should be ready soon. Did you bring your bowl? Did you bring your spoon? The books I have not read. Here are the books I have not read that I promise to read someday. And who knows, maybe after baseball games, circuses, and taking naps, playing drums and building planes, drinking cokes and telling jokes and playing spin the bottle, and watching stars and driving cars, and getting married and working a job, and having kids and getting old, and getting fat and getting gray. I may. Whee! Gotta read those books. Presents, presents, presents. The birthday party's over, and I've got a sleepy head, but I got so many presents that I can't get near my bed. They're stacked from porch to parlor, they're jammed up on the stairs, they're piled in front of all the doors. I can't get anywhere. I can't get to the kitchen, I'm starving for some food. I can't get to the closet, so I'm shivering in the nude. I can't get out to go to school, and I can't go to the show, and I can't get to the bathroom where I really have to go. And it's painfully surprising to find life's not too pleasant when you become a prisoner of too many presents. Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, I wish that was in the original. Oh. Binky Blum. Binky Blum, my little chum, why do you suck your thumb? It's unhygienic, crude, and dumb, and leaves your hand all wet and numb. Your daddy worries, and your mom says, wonder where he gets that from. So, Binky Blum, unsuck that thumb. For heaven knows you've stuck that thumb where microbes swim, or might have swum, where germs all climb, or once have clung. There's sawdust from that drum you drum, lint from that guitar you strum, and all that sand and scuzz and scum and mud and crud stuck to your thumb. Oh, Binky Blum, why don't you come into the kitchen and have some sweet angel cake that's soaked in rum, a juicy plum, some bubble gum, a cookie? No? At least a crumb? Oh, Binky Blum, my little chum, don't just sit there looking glum, staring at your other thumb going yum. That's interesting. There's another Shel Silverstein poem in Where the Sidewalk Ends about thumb sucking that has the opposite tone. It's like, you know, the thumb sucker's thumb might be shriveled and wet and white as the new fallen snow, but the taste of the thumb is the sweetest taste that only we thumb suckers know. So, I don't know. I can't believe I remembered that.
I was like, you were saying that from memory?
Yeah, I've read these books so many fucking times, you have no
Hell,
clue. So, Shel is not against thumb sucking per se. This is more about hygiene. Exercising hen. That fat old hen was lazing around, munching grain and corn, when she realized that all the fattest hens were gone. Now she's on a diet, exercising hard, trying to be the thinnest hen in the chicken yard. Interesting.
Dark.
Yeah. Birthday. The party clown was away at the lake. The toy store man was not awake. The bakery man was out of cake. I hope you like this birthday snake.
Yes.
Birthday snake.
It's birthday!
Collecting. Jane collects old postage stamps and Jack collects old electric trains. I collect old hamburgers. They both think I'm kind of strange. But when it's time for late night snacks, I sit poor old Jake and Jane. I pity poor old Jake and Jane, nibbling on those postage stamps and trying to chew those electric trains.
You're right there.
It's another trick. Oh my god. The Hungry TV Set. There was a hungry TV set who never got to try one taste of all those luscious looking things it couldn't buy. All day, all night, its screen was filled with puddings, cakes, and pies, and the TV cried and longed to try the things it advertised. So one cold and dark and hungry night, while all the household slept, the TV just unplugged itself and down the stairs it crept. Into the kitchen, to the fridge, and there, before its eyes, were all those scrumptious, tasty, tempting things it advertised. It gobbled up the cookies, it slurped all the soups, it munched the muffins and the tarts, it crunched the Fruity Loops, it swallowed all the puddings, it gulped the chocolate mousse, it chomped the frozen pizzas, it guzzled down the juice. It finished with some ice cream and some after-dinner mints, then slowly waddled back upstairs and plugged itself back in. And there it sits and moans and burps and gasps and groans and sighs and thinks with indigestion that it might not be too wise to ever go and eat the things that you advertise. Wow, that's fucking dark.
Yeah.
But also, here's a nice drawing of the Hungry Television. Its actual screen opens up. Veggie Play. Why can't I play the carrot in the Veggie Play this year? I always play the carrot. I've got the costume here. I'm the perfect carrot, tall and thin as a rope. So why do they say I have to play the dumb old cantaloupe? I would let them play the carrot. And that was it. I don't know. I feel amazing.
Yay!
Thank you all for listening. I'm gonna take a bit of a break. I'm gonna reset my camera, set up for speed runs. I'm gonna play some Shadow of the Colossus in a bit, and I'm going for a run. I want to get my score higher, faster time. I don't know if I'll do it, but I'm definitely gonna get some good runs in. So I hope you all stick around. And I don't know what else to say. Just thanks for watching. And if you're watching later on YouTube, thank you for your support. And also, I hope you enjoyed this book. It is literally my favorite book from my childhood. I'll be back soon.